Creating the culture for data analytics actually starts at the very beginning by having that strategic vision. A vision is a very clear picture of what is it going to look like at the end. You know, I see a lot of strategies put together by credit unions that are kind of more, well, we want to raise more capital and we want to, you know, get better ROA but what does that mean? What does it look like? How is the organization going to change? So when we're talking about data culture, I want to have a vision of how will we use data for the improvement of our member experience and improvement of our processes in the future. So it's clearly defining that so everybody knows what the end looks like and they know what they're working for. When we work with a credit union, we're going to find probably no less than 25 stakeholders. These are people who live and die by a certain key set of data points. You know, lending, they want to know balances acquired, balances lost. They want to know how many loans were applied for and approved and not taken. They want to know their funding amounts and all that. So every department has these. So data isn't about technology. Data isn't about marketing efficiency. Those are elements of it, but it's about what is the organizational view. And so every piece of the organization, even going down to the call center, and the call center needs to know what are their wait times, what are their number of calls, you know, what are their hold times, all of that stuff. How do we, in fact, make that data transparent to everybody so data is no longer a black box out there. Data is actually something that people can see and understand and make decisions with. So it's incorporating all those stakeholders. Every department, even down to HR, has data needs. The obvious one is you know, finance. They live and die by data from the finance standpoint. But marketing, lending, call center, branches, operations, every department has a stake in data. The challenges that we see are people want to hold that data that they work on. They want to kind of keep it to themselves. And kind of the worst case scenario of that is they want to own that data to the point that they now control what data is seen. So, and then that's an organizational risk. For example, if I'm a lender and I create my own data definitions and I create my own queries, I can do that in a manner that tells the story I want told, not necessarily the true story that data tells. So to me, it's critically important that data be neutralized and normalized and transparent across the organization so that any key stakeholder is sharing the truth, that one source of truth, and everybody sees that one source of truth. Data champions are critically important because you want to have a culture where people are using the data and not just using their gut. And to have champions, somebody that is willing to step up and say, you know, this data has created this opportunity for us or has solved this problem for us is essential. And every department should have those champions of the data. Somebody that becomes the voice of the data for the organization. But also, it's very critical that you have those champions that really understand what they need from data, so they become part of that whole integration and implementation process so that they are getting the data they need and they have the voice in the process to make sure that data is being delivered the way they need it delivered. It's important as part of that process to clearly understand how they're getting the data now and how they're having to manipulate it so that you can create those shortcuts for those champions. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make them the champion, when we create those efficiencies for them and they get the data they need the way they need it. What I love about AXFI, and I'm speaking with all sincerity here, is at the end of a session, the room never clears. You know, I go to a lot of conferences, you know, and a minute of presentation's over, people scatter for the exits. You know, they're going to get their cookies or whatever, you know. But here, people linger in the room, and that network power that I see around all those circular tables and people having conversations about that topic that they just saw and what they learned and what their takeaways were and how they're deploying it in their particular credit union, to me, that's the value. You almost have to go into the room with a street sweeper so you can clear it out so the next presenter can do their job. You don't see that at a lot of conferences. I also see a lot of people that are there really honestly absorbing. It's you know, I looked around when I was doing my presentation today, and I saw people tweeting, but I didn't see people doing emails. I mean, they were really focused and engaged. They're here to learn, to share, and to network. And that's the strength of this particular one. And the unique niche they have about data and innovation is so critically important to credit unions. It's kind of a unique niche that I think they're having success with.